Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be ranking all the teams from the National League, their transfer window, out of 10 with a rating. So please leave a like on the video. Let's try and smash 50 likes on the video. Let's try and smash that. It'd be much appreciated. Subscribe if you're new. We're going for 3.2k. We're continuing to grow the army, so if you could subscribe, you're much appreciated. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Let's go. Thanks to NL Bible 1, who's been keeping track of the transfers over the summer and creates the transfer summaries. So big thank you for him, and I wouldn't be able to do the transfer roundup and the videos throughout the summer. So big thanks to him. Give him a follow there. Alright, so first up we've got Halifax. And I think Halifax have had a decent window. And I think obviously Fulton came in about February, March time after the previous manager left. And he played a bit of a different style of football. And Fulton has been able to bring in his sort of style of players and bring in some quality like Olesi and some other decent players in there, and get rid of some of the players that were suited to Billy Heath, the old manager, like Tom Denton, who's signed for, I think, his Telford side now. And I think the side is now so much more better suited to Fulton's style of play, which may have helped in Halifax's good start to the league. They have played some easier teams, but in the next couple of games got a much harder fixtures, so it'll be interesting to see how they do cope. But they made a good start, and I think Fulton has made a good window, so I'm going to give them a solid 6 out of 10. So on to my team, Ebbsfleet. We've made 3 quality signings, and we've been able to keep the squad that got us into the playoffs last season. So I think it's a very good window. I think Ebu Adams, Michael Cheek and Jack King probably are able to play in the Football League. So I think Michael Cheek, proven goal scorer, which we really did need. If Michael Cheek wasn't there, I didn't think that maybe this would be a great of a window, but we've kept the squad together and we made 3 good signings. So I think it is a 7 out of 10 for the Fleet. With Wrexham, who again I think have had a decent window. I think Sam Ricketts has done a very decent job, and I think he's had a good window. I think Luke Young, Summerfield, especially Mike Fondop. Some of the players might not be big names in non-league football, but I think they're all decent signings. They have lost Wedgbury, Jonathan, lost a few players, but they have managed to keep Ben Pearson, Manny Smith. So I think it's a decent window from Wrexham, and I think it's going to be a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Bulls, and I think another team that had a decent window. I don't think they've had an amazing one. They have brought in some decent players. They have lost Rodney, Oates, and some other players that were a part of their squad. But the signing with Andrew David, they picked Nicky Muir up, who scored a load of goals in the lower division. Liam Noble, Mark Kitchen. I think they've made some good signings. So I think another solid 6 out of 10 for Hartlepool. Barrow, who have made an absolute load of signings. To be honest, I don't know half of them. And Ian Everett has got rid of a few as well. There's just been so many signings. How are all those signings going to gel together? There's some decent players in there, but I think it will be a 5 out of 10 for Barrow. Leighton Orient, the O's. We've only made 2 signings. I think James Alabi isn't that great. To be honest, he's been around non-league football. We nearly signed him. Don't think he's that great, but I'll be willing to be proven wrong. Dale Gorman is injured at the moment, who is a decent player as well. They've managed to keep the core of their squad together, which I think was the important part. They've kept Bon. So it is a decent window. They've kept that squad together, but I don't think the signings they've brought in are that amazing. So it's going to be a 4 out of 10 for Orient. Salford City, and to be fair, you know, they've got money, but they've spent it really well. They've brought in some absolute quality players: Adam Rooney, Danny Lloyd, Danny Whitehead from Macclesfield last season, who won the title. They've done absolute bits in the transfer window. They've been so busy, and you have to award that. They managed to get rid of I think Ashley Hemmings, who was playing for Boston, who smashed the National League North last season, and managed to get rid of him to Fylde, just to show how much they've improved their squad. They managed to get rid of some of their National League North quality players as well. So I think it's been a fantastic window for Salford, and I think it has to be a 10 out of 10 because the quality of players they're bringing in, you know, you can't complain that they really should be smashing the National League with those signings. Boreham Wood have made some good signings, but you have to look at those departures. Lost Andrade and Ferrier. They're two really important attacking wingers last season, and they were so important of getting them to the playoff final. They have brought in some decent players like Elisami, Manny Parry, and some decent players in there, but the fact they've lost those two players is pretty damaging, and maybe why haven't been able to score too many goals to the start of the season is how they're going to replace that creative output. And I think it isn't, because of those losses, I think it's got to be a 3 out of 10 for the Wood. Harrogate Town have made some decent signings as well. They've lost a few which maybe weren't National League quality, but I think I was really impressed by that Jack Muldoon signing. But it wasn't too many signings from Harrogate. Some decent signings there to award a 4 out of 10 for Harrogate. The Stones, who I think have made quite a few signings, but I don't know if quite a few of those are a risk, especially Shamir Mullings and Quigley. Shamir Mullings has made a good start to life in Maidstone, but they have brought in Alex Finney as well. Some of those transfers maybe I don't rate too much, but I think they've done okay. They maybe hope for maybe a few better quality signings, but they've done a decent window, so I think a 4 out of 10 for the Stones. Shot playoff quarter finalists last season, and they lost load of their squad at the start of the transfer window. Their captain Callum Reynolds, Manny Oleke. They also lost the 2 loans which were so important. Their goalkeeper Lewis Ward, Will Evans, Bobby Joe Taylor. So I think Aldershot, the fact they lost the majority of their squad, the ones that were settled there, and they've had to replace it. I think they've replaced them with some good signings, but they have replaced them with signings like Marvin McCoy. They have made Jacob Berkeley at Apping Pong. They made some okay signings, but I don't think maybe that the squad that was originally there is better at the moment. I'm not too sure about that now. We'll have to wait to see how they do gel. So I think it's going to have to be a 4 out of 10 for me for Aldershot. Solihull Moors, of course, lost Mark Yates, which really does affected their transfer and maybe their team, because I think Mark Yates was always maybe thinking about that Macclesfield job in the back of his mind. And I think they've had a decent window. They've had Tim Flowers has taken over the job there, and he's done a decent job at controlling it. They made some good signings and maybe lost a few as well. But I think it's been an okay win for Solihull Moors. I think 5 out of 10. Bromley have lost some good players a part of their side. Louis Dennis, that was really important last season. Luke Wandinho, Josh Reese, Tyrone Sterling. A lot of losing some of those big players for them last season. They have brought in some decent players. For example, Carl De Silva, Bobby Joe Taylor. But I think the players they've lost and the players they've brought in have kind of counteracted themselves. So I think it's going to be a 5 out of 10 for Bromley. Barnet, the Bees, they've been very busy in this transfer window. And the 2 big losses, they lost Curtis Weston and John Akinde. Goings there. They've brought in some good players. It's unsure to know the quality of those players. I think the window has been okay. They've brought in some good signings. How all those signings will gel, how John Steele is going to get them firing, I think it's going to be interesting to see. But I think it's a decent window from Barnet, considering going down to non-league football. But losing John Akinde and Curtis Weston has been really damaging, so it's going to be a 3.5 out of 10 for me. So Eastleigh, there haven't been too much going on. I think it's just going to be a solid 5 out of 10 from them. There hasn't been too much business to really comment on, and the squad hasn't changed too much. So Havant and Waterloo, of course, promoted from the National League South. I think they've brought in some good signings. Nicky Gabamba and Paul Robinson, I think, are all decent signings for them. Maybe needed a little bit more quality in the door, but they've kept their squad together, and I think Alfie Pavey is also a good signing as well. So I think it's been a decent window from Havant and Waterloo. I think it'll be a solid 5 out of 10 from them, and I think maybe those signings will keep them up. AFC Fylde have had a decent window, especially the fact that they've kept Danny Rowe and they've kept Dave Chandler there, and those are probably the 2 most important signings and managed to keep some of those big players that were very good for them last season, especially those attacking players. They've also brought in some other good quality like Ashley Hemmings, Neil Bryn, Luke Burke. They've made some good signings. They've also lost a few as well, maybe not up to the standard for Fylde, but I think they've had a very decent window, and I think it will get them a solid 7 out of 10 from me. Gateshead, of course, lost the huge majority of their squad after going back part-time and the financial troubles. They then got an owner in, and they've also maybe managed to get a few signings to maybe push their rating up a little bit. They signed Mike Williamson, for example. A lot of the players they have signed are youngsters, and it'll be interesting to see how they can continue this on, and if they can continue the good form they have started. I don't think they will, but they probably will prove me wrong. But the rating for me has got to be a 3 out of 10, losing the majority of their squad. Views of Sutton United. They're doing pretty decent transfer window from them. Two good fullbacks of Dan Wishart and Dale Bennett. Two players I did consider for the National League Transfer 11, and I think they did okay to get in there. Also, Charlie Clough is a good signing as well. They have lost Craig Dundas, but I think it has been overall a good window for Sutton. So I think a solid 6 out of 10 for Sutton and Paul Doswell's men. Then go to the south coast of Dover. Haven't made a great start to the new season, but you can't deny they have had a decent window. Effie Young, Benson Gomes have made some good signings in there, and Jack Connors from Ebbsfleet as well. So I think they have made some good signings in there. They have lost the likes of Ilasami, Bird and Parry, but I do think that it has been a okay window for Dover, and I think it's decent, but maybe could have had a few more signings to really push them up the league. And I don't think it's maybe had the same effect that it has the last couple of seasons, where Kinnear's had to rebuild that squad again. But I think it has been a decent window, so I think it will be a 5 out of 10 for Dover. Braintree, who I think, especially considering they came up from the National League South, with a squad, I would have expected more signings, especially more departures. They haven't really got rid of the, especially when you come up with the National League South, you do have to get rid of National League South players, and I definitely believe there is a few, maybe more than a few, National League South players in that Braintree squad, and I think maybe they needed to get rid of some of those and bring in a bit more quality. They haven't really done that, and I think Braintree hasn't been too great, so I think it's going to be a 2.5 out of 10 for me for Braintree. Sorry, Braintree fans. Spyrites of Chesterfield have had a very good window, and I really do rate some of their signings. They've also signed Carl Reed, which isn't on the transfer summary, but they have made some good signings for Tune, Juan Jalal, Will Evans, Charlie Carter, Sam Wedgbury, all experienced non-league players who could help them get back to the Football League. And I think they have lost some of their bigger players as well, but I think they have adapted well to life in non-league football with those signings, and it should give them a good chance for promotion. So I think it's going to be an 8 out of 10 for me for the Spyrites. To Dagenham and Redbridge, they have made a poor start to life this season, and it is reflected in their transfer window. They lost a good part of their squad. Michael Cheek, a lot of their good members of their squad. They've brought in a few loans, but it's going to be a tough season for Dagenham. I'm sure of that. So I think it's going to be not a great rating for them. I think it's going to be a 2 out of 10, and I just think some of the players they've lost and the players they replaced them, it's going to be a real struggle for Dagenham. So I think a 2 out of 10. Sorry, Dagenham. Sorry, Daggers fans. Go to the Magpies. They haven't made too many departures. They did lose the very important Harry Pritchard, who was their top goal scorer last season, and I think there was going to be a struggle. I think they needed a bit more quality, and I don't think they really have replaced Harry Pritchard that well. So I don't think, maybe not been amazing of a window for Maidenhead. I think maybe needed a bit more quality, a bit more attacking quality in their side. So I think it's going to be a 4 out of 10 for me for the Magpies. Hope you did enjoy the video. Please let me know what you thought of my ratings. I think maybe I had a few dodgy ones in there, but it's just my opinion. Let me know what you thought. I'm sure you will. Subscribe if you're new. Just trying to hit that 3.2k mark. We may have already hit it, so please hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on the video. Let's try and smash a massive 50 likes. It'll be much appreciated. I'll see you all later. See you later.